when they put it to music, it was harmonious. Whatever frequency they brought it down to, it was harmonious. It wasn't dissonant. And it wasn't minor. It was major harmonious key.
That's pretty.
Yeah. They say that Hitler was the one who changed it, huh? What a
yeah, and that's true because they were tuning things to 432. They created the instruments to respond to 432. When they tune the tops, like you can tune a violin top especially, you can just tune the top. You can just keep scraping until it goes, that's the note I'm looking for. You could do it with a guitar top, any of those.
Huh.
And I'm pretty sure the woodwind makers do the same thing. I'm sure they do. The real good ones. You actually can tune it with a tap. And you know, that'll respond to the notes you're playing the most.
Well, what's 432 mean?
Well, 440A is this A right here.
Why are you calling it 440? And why are you
There's
calling it
432. I don't know if you can tell the difference. There's 432. There's 440. It's a slight pitch variance, but
why are you assigning a number?
it has to. That's the basically the vibrations per second.
Oh.
Hertz frequency. I think that's the vibrations per second. So
It only hurts for a little while.
for 440
Seconds.
m of a second divided by m. So supposedly the 432 is natural. You find a lot in nature. It's like the golden mean. Have you ever heard of that? So.
The golden mean.
So you got the golden mean. Jeannie, come here, honey.
Yeah, Gene.
Jeannie, come here, babe. Finger. 2 times finger, hand. I think it's 2 times hand. Forearm and upper arm.
Oh, is that
Two times forearm. Forearm.
That's the Fibonacci curve.
Well, that's called the golden mean originally.
Oh, Reggie.
The Fibonacci curve has to do with like the
Spiral.
spirals, right? This has to do with lengths.
Very,
It's along the same length,
Lengths.
same idea though.
it's, you know, this.
And the whole universe, the whole universe is built in the golden mean.
It is. It's pretty.
You gotta love the golden
By the
mean.
master builder, who was not, by the way, who was not a Mason.
Good. He was a Hebrew. He made the first Hebrew hot dog.
I saw that. What was it?
He probably did.
The Vortex, Michael Voris. You ever see that? This
Nah.
Catholic guy.
No, I didn't.
He did a big expose a couple years ago on the Masons,
Yeah, they were beautiful.
Yeah.
and he referenced it all, and it's just like, you know,
Yeah, that goes all the way
it's
back.
so satanic. It's just.
Goes back to Hiram and
Everywhere.
building the temple.
I was D. Malay. I was a junior Mason, and we did a black mass when I was inducted.
That is scary.
It was scary, and my gut was just, I was almost ready to throw up the whole time.
Wow.
I didn't like it. I was doing it. My grandfather wanted me to become a Mason eventually, and
What did they do?
black mass. They brought these guys dressed up like these princes, and had names assigned, and they would come out and make declarations. They called to the 4 winds of the 4 corners of the earth. They called upon, and I'll never forget it, the god Marduk,
Really?
which I didn't know the Old Testament at the time.
Wow.
Called upon Marduk, and they called upon some other gods, and they inducted a grown man up front. We were the junior inductees for D. Malay, and they put him. It was just strange. It was weird. They were all dressed as high priests, but they weren't. It was just some bad juju going on. There was a dark golden light that wasn't the background lighting filling the room. It was just really just.
Some spirit showed up. An orb.
I quit the next week because they told me you have to call me Dad now, Bill, my adult mentor.
Really?
And I told him, I thought about it for 10 minutes, came back to him, and I said, I only have one dad. I can't call you Dad.
There you go.
I'll call you Uncle. I don't mind that. He said, you're going to have to call me Dad.
I'm out of here.
I said, I'm out of here. And then he had a meeting, and they came back, oh, you can call me Uncle. I said, no.
Too late.
I said, okay, I'll call you Uncle. And I never came back again.
You cried, Uncle. Get me out of here.
I did. I cried, Uncle, and I never went back again. It was
Feet,
just-
do your stuff.
Didn't they keep after you then?
No.
Let
No,
you,
they didn't because it's all voluntary.
They knew.
Well, I guess I would have been in for all the things you get when you become a Mason. All the doors open, and
Yeah.
if I get a felony, I guess it gets expunged or whatever they do. I
Well,
don't know.
I never heard any of that. My father was a Mason.
Yeah, well, judges are Masons, and if a fellow Mason gets into trouble, they help him out.
Well, yeah.
You
it's a
get- you get-
brotherhood. Yeah.
And you get you get 3 points for being a Mason in the job. You get the job if you're a Mason. And all that.
Wow.
I never found out why my father quit, but I think it had something to do with one of the brothers was cheating on his wife, and they didn't do anything about it. I think
Uh-huh.
it turned my father off.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And he quit.
My grandfather was in for the beer and the cigars.
Yep.
He could smoke cigars at the beer bar.
They always
They had some freebies.
Well, actually, you know what it was? The Masonic Hall in Pensgrove was right next to a bar.
Ah,
So he would go to the Masons, and then he'd go over to the bar. Now and again, I went with him.
Why not?
He'd take me to the bar, not the Masons. He'd say hello at the club, and then at the hall, and then go over next door to the bar.
and left you in the bar?
Well, no, I was there with him.
Oh.
He'd give me a root beer or something and just talk. He was a cool guy, very cool guy.
And then you went to the Masons?
He had the tattoo of the dancing. He could make the lady dance, the naked lady. But he tells a story. He came back from a Navy jaunt over somewhere with a tattoo, and my grandmother made him put the shirt on the lady, but he could still make her dance for us.
Cleaned up his act.
Yeah.